Hello and welcome back to The Stage Door, presented by Canberra Arts right here in Corner Brook on Rogers TV. Thanks for joining us again, and we have a really exciting April event coming up. The Provincial Drama Festival, the Annual Provincial Drama Festival, is going to be held right here in Corner Brook. This is bringing community theatre groups from across the whole province, Newfoundland and Labrador, to Corner Brook to present 8 shows over 8 nights of the week of Easter break. So what a treat that is going to be. I'm here with a couple folks who are involved in that in some way. And Gregory is in Off-Broadway Players Show this year, the Cayuga Canal Girls. And John Benoite is the chair of the Off-Broadway Players Board for a couple terms now, and also, of course, involved in the host committee, making all of this possible to happen right here in Corner Brook. So John and Anne, thanks so much for dropping by the stage door.
Oh, thank you
for having us. Yeah.
So before we talk about this show and what people can expect at the Drama Festival, we always like to start with a question for our people that goes back to the very beginning. So, Anne, what was it that got you into theatre in the first place?
Oh my gosh.
See, John gets time to think now.
You get to think about it. Well, I just love it. I've loved it ever since I remember my very first line from the grade 3 Christmas play. I had to say, "No trimmed trees." That was my very first line, and I think I've been hooked ever since. There's something magical about it.
Yeah.
Being on stage with a group of people and getting to sing and getting to be ridiculous, and I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you know, I think a lot
it.
of people have that root from a very young age, but it's great to hear that memory, you know, of the line sticking in there from grade 3.
Yep.
You know, especially, you know, that was only, 15, 20 years ago, Anne, right?
God love you. It's been a while.
And John, what about you? What was your first kind of hook that got you into theatre?
I guess I was like Anne. I did the school plays in all through elementary and high school, and I do remember my very first line. It was actually in a kindergarten play, and we spelled out the word Christmas. I was the C, and I remember that line perfectly. After high school, I kind of stepped away from it completely, moved away, and we moved back to Corner Brook 2015, and I was looking for an outlet, and I heard Off-Broadway was doing community theater. I came back. The show was fun, but the friends and the camaraderie made it addictive. I came back for the people, and I haven't left since.
There we go, right? And it does build a community, you know.
And very much so.
That was Blood Brothers that brought you back in, which I was the director for that year. So the three of us certainly stayed connected since then, you know. Anne was involved in that as your mom.
She played
your
my
dear
mom. She's nowhere near old enough to play my mom, but
well, you got to play age 10 all the way up to
that
to
was
adulthood
interesting.
too.
Playing a 10-year-old in my mid-30s. Yeah, that was stretch, but it was some of the most fun I've ever had in my life.
No, it's amazing the community and connectivity that community theatre brings, you know, and I think that's something that us at Canberra Arts are certainly proud of, is to not only support community theatre like Off-Broadway Players and the Drama Festival, but to also offer a community musical in the winter season when everyone's struggling with the grey days. It certainly broke that up nicely this year and last year, so hopefully that can continue, you know, to have 3 major community-based productions. Is an amazing thing, you know. It's
you get to
this
watch.
place is amazing for that.
You get to watch lifelong friendships being made around you.
Yeah.
People who had lived in the same community for a long time, never crossed paths, and all of a sudden, you watch, and 5-6 years later, they are still thick as thieves. They're still supporting each other. They're still there, coming out and showing that support for everyone else in the community and bringing other people in, and it's evolving and it's growing, and it's probably one of the healthiest outlets that we can have right now.
Yeah, no, I think that's hitting the nail on the head for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking more specifically on community theatre, what were some of the moments that stand out if you look back? So Anne, we'll start with you on that.
Oh, wow. There's so many really very special shows. Getting to be in Blood Brothers was just so fantastic. And getting to meet this guy and to be John's mom and just to see how he's evolved over the years has been really special. I'll never forget doing Cabaret. When was Cabaret? Can't remember. I apologize. It was a few years back, but I remember with the character that I played, I did a lot of scenes with a particular actor, and this David Smallwood. And he said, Anne, he said, for our bow, he said, you go on out first. He said, and I'll come behind you. I was like, sure. So this was closing night, and we walked out, and we got our applause, and then all of a sudden I heard this, yeah, and I turned around, and there was David on a bended knee, and he had the pineapple. So of course in Cabaret there's the song, the pineapple song, and he gives me the pineapple closing night. And you know what I mean? Just having that community support there was just, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
it's
very
certainly
special.
so special, right? And you do have all many walks of life and many different ages, coming together. You have, people working in so many different industries that want to do this. It's a pretty spectacular thing to get to share in. So, John, what would you say some of your memories that stand out of community theater experiences are?
Getting to go second and having time to think didn't help this time because there's too many things. But Blood Brothers was definitely one of the most amazing experiences. Getting to learn from people. It was my first time on stage in many, many years, but being able to watch Anne especially and learn from her process and learn from her amazingness, and just watching the wheels turn in your head as you're putting everything together and the angles and the aspects of everything you're doing, that was such a growth moment. Getting to direct my first show in 2023, I got to direct American Idiot, which had been a dream of mine for quite a while, and I'll never forget that experience, and that will live with me forever. Doing Rent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doing Rent.
Yeah.
That was life altering. I'll never forget. These are memories that will be with me until day last. It's just, I can't imagine not having come to do this.
Yeah.
To actually join the company and doing community theater. Not doing that would have been the biggest mistake I'd ever made.
Yeah.
I think that's a testament to it, though. So for those watching, if you're uncertain, it is a community. Community's in that word for a reason. Arguably, it's more important than the theater. The show brings it together. That's what brings the community together. But at the end of the day, much like our work at Graham Academy and Canberra Arts, the goal is community building first, then it's growth and what you can learn, and then it's putting off a good show. But the first two things, I think, really are what makes the show possible to be good, is having a community that you're able to connect with people. But certainly, there's just some amazing stories about that. And there are so many people like yourself, Anne, who have a degree in theater, have stayed here, have gotten work in theater, but have also been a part of the community show because it's so valuable to be able to share that room and be in that process. And this show is no exception. I think there's a couple folks in the show that are professionals and have worked professional contracts. Yeah,
It's
a lot of people.
Yeah, because we have, there's Alison Crowe. Oh my gosh. There's Abby. Abby's our director. It's just, and Joanne Martin, who's been involved in community theater for quite a while. I remember her first show, Sound of Music. She and I were in the nuns chorus together. And she's.
No, it's pretty incredible to share in those spaces. And like you said, it's not just a community space, but it's also a space that you can learn and celebrate and uplift each other in that. Not that it's set up that way to be like, okay, this is a lesson, but you get those moments to be like, whoa, that was cool to watch.
Mm.
How
Yeah.
did that
Yep,
work?
big time.
How did this work?
And
It's amazing.
It's given me an opportunity as well to find another avenue to connect with my son, because he has the theater bug now. And he actually got a chance for the first time in our fall production in November gone. He got a chance to see his dad on the stage for the first time in Bright Star, and that's a moment we've bonded over.
Good.
Again, another one of my proud moments. And now he's like, okay, Dad, so I get to take acting programs now, right? I'm like,
Nice.
yes, you absolutely do.
Yeah,
And
excellent.
Something I'm glad I could share with you.
Absolutely, it does. It's a family moment. There's family connections that are all the time, whether it's found family or your real family that you're bringing in and getting involved. It's so profound. I think is the word that comes
It
to
is,
mind. It's
yeah.
hard to put to words. So I think it is something profound. That comes from these type of productions. And, thinking about the Drama Festival, that's no exception to that, because not only do you get to perform your own show with Off-Broadway players, you get to see 7 other troupes from around the province, including Labrador, Newfoundland and Labrador, coming together for a week. 8 days in this case, which is amazing to do an 8-day festival over Easter. I think it's so important that these groups get to spend time together, not only in the show, but in workshops that they can take part in, supporting our local businesses here in Corner Brook. But in addition to that, also getting to see each other's shows and getting to celebrate each other's shows at a green room at a local business in Corner Brook. So there's lots of real tangible benefits that this is providing, not only to the people at it, but to the people around it that get to really experience this amazing influx of, I would say, certainly over 100, if not over 200 people that are coming in and supporting this region right now.
There's a lot of people, yeah. Eight
Eight
separate
troops. I was like, it got to be 100.
Wow.
But
There are some smaller
there's a couple smaller
ones,
here,
but some people are bringing everybody. There's a couple of larger groups, and they're bringing family, they're bringing spouses, they're bringing kids, they're bringing
Wow.
extra people with them to come and celebrate these moments. I mean, this is the 75th Annual Drama Festival, and it is an 8-night festival, as you mentioned. It is the largest in terms of productions, and we are aiming to make this as big an event as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is an annual event. It's been pretty much every year. I know COVID was a disruptor, as it was for many of those annual traditions. But the 75th, that's just fantastic. So John, we'll start talking about that because, of course, you're the chair of Off-Broadway Players. So first, before we talk about the festival itself, what does that mean? What does it mean to be on the board of the Off-Broadway Players? What type of tasks do you do to bring Off-Broadway Players to life in the city?
It's a stewardship. The idea is to make sure that we provide a channel for those interested in community theater to have an outlet, to be able to bring their own ideas to the stage, to try something they might have always wanted to try but have been too scared to actually step forward or didn't know how to go about it. So we provide that avenue to get everyday folks into that little dream or that little performance moment that they've always wanted to try. We routinely do 2 shows a year. We do our fall musical, which ends up being a very, very large production. And we don't turn people away. We've done shows that have been designed for a cast of 13, and we've had 40 because we don't turn people away. And we find ways of working extra people into these things. We want to be as welcoming and open and safe for everyone as we can be. So fostering a safe environment is definitely a big part of the board's responsibility. We provide logistical support for anyone who wants to produce a show. You come to us with an idea. I'd love to see this show on stage. Here's a concept I have for it. How do I go about it? We'll walk you through that process. We will, we might even be able to provide funding to get the rights to that show, to help you set up your set and your props and your costuming, which can be extremely expensive sometimes. And then, of course, we have our entry into the festival every year. Because Corner Brook has so much talent, and we see it here multiple times a year, that Corner Brook should be represented in the provincial festival, on the provincial scene. So we again provide the opportunity for anyone who wants to direct a show, put forward a show for everyone to see. We provide that avenue for it. So there's a lot of logistics, a lot of administration, but a lot of gratification as well.
You know, what can people expect this Easter week? What type of things can people go? I'll go through the logistics because I got it here ready for it.
Oh, good.
But what are the things people can take away before we go through the list of what's going on and talk a little bit about Cayuga Canal?
First and foremost, it is a much needed escape. I've said it before, that right now we are living in a perpetual news cycle. With everything that's going on in the world, nationally, provincially, internationally, this is going to be a week of escape from the humdrum of life, from the ever panic-inducing news cycle. And people can expect 8 nights of brilliant theater. They can expect a chance to laugh and cry and relate to different characters and different shows and find themselves in the people on the stage. And then they get a chance to come out to our green rooms and talk with these people and appreciate the work that was done, ask questions, get insights, find out what's in it for you to get involved.
Yep.
And support a lot of local businesses as well. So this is a win-win for the community, and it's a win-win for anyone who just wants to come out and watch some good theater and just forget about everything that's going on in the world right now.
Absolutely. I think it's so exciting to see, you know, this community embrace this and have it happen. And for those that don't know, green room is a term for kind of where the actors could hang out in the theater, away from the crowd, usually a nicer space. In this case, it's a space where the actors hang out after the show,
yes,
with the companies from across the province. And in Corner Brook this year, it's available to the public. There are, it is ticketed. Only one of them has to be purchased in advance, though. That's the gala night, which is kind of a shed party theme at the Benoite Hall.
Benoite Hall, yeah.
But other than that, they're all around different restaurants, different venues, including Canberra Arts, actually. Canberra Arts is hosting one of the green rooms, which is so exciting. And it's only $15 to get in. There's often going to be some form of entertainment along with this opportunity to really network with artists and community artists from across the whole province, which is just amazing, you know, to bring that to so many spaces. I think it's a unique thing that the Drama Festival does, is it really immediately gives back, not only in the way of, yes, we have 100 people here, they're contributing to the economy, but we have 100 people here and they're definitely going to these 8 places.
Yes.
And people are welcome to join them. I think it's a really beautiful thing. So congratulations on that. I'm going to quickly go through what the festival is. It runs Saturday, April 19th, all the way to Saturday, April 26th. Starts with Off-Broadway Players' presentation of the Cayuga Canal Girls, which is a really special show for Off-Broadway players. We'll talk a little bit about it once I rhyme through this, but I do want to take a moment to celebrate the very female-dominant creative crew and cast. I think that's really exciting to see that list and have such a powerhouse group of women leading that show, which is also written by a female playwright, which is just Awesome. Sunday, April 20th, the Avion Players from Gander are coming in with the female version of The Odd Couple. Classic story has been rewritten to be a female version and a male version, which I think is great that Neil Simon was able to do that with the kind of age-old tale that are the movies in our head and the TV series for some of us. Monday, April 21st, the St. John's Players bring Bothered and Bewildered by Gail Young. Tuesday, the 22nd, the Carol Players from Labrador bring A Rock Sails By Sean Grennan. Wednesday, April 23rd, Theatre CBS, one of the relatively new groups joining the festival, bring Duckish, the ghost and fairy stories of Tom Daw. So a Newfoundland original there. Thursday, April 24th, another of the newer groups to the festival, Mad Rock Theatre, is bringing The Memory of Water. Friday, April 25th, another Labrador group, Northern Lights Theatre Company, is bringing Time Stand Still. And Saturday, April 26th, Northcliffe Drama Club from Grand Falls, another Newfoundland original story by Shirley Morrow, Jam, Toast, and Orgasms. So, there's certainly something for everyone at the festival, I think. The Cayuga Canal Girls.
Yes.
What is the show about?
It is
Without giving too much away.
Okay. It is about a group of women who get together after the unexpected death of their good friend. And it's all about them dealing with her passing and how she passed. And there's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of very intense moments in the show. But it's a very, very special piece. Very, very special. Yeah.
No, I think it's, anything with heart needs to have laughter too. I think that's always the important lesson in performance is a sad scene has to have brightness. There has to be joy because that's life, and I think that's so important. I think this show is again, so beautiful and uplifting to see a small company led by incredible local women in our community, right down to the set, to the lighting, to the direction, to the stage management. It's pretty amazing, to the full cast.
It's amazing because
so
there's, with all the women in the cast, I've worked with all of them in one way or another. And of course, there's another woman in the cast that I haven't mentioned, and that's Katie Manuel. I mean, I've known Katie since she was a little girl, and now just seeing her grow up into the artist that she's become, it's really special.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the Drama Festival is happening over Easter week, the 19th all the way to the 26th, kicked off by our friends right here in Corner Brook, the Off-Broadway Players. It's a really fantastic opportunity to get out, see some theater, enjoy some theater, meet connections of theater all the way across this province. Again, we're going St. John's to Goose Bay to Lab. It's an amazing time. I've been a part of it a couple times here in Corner Brook. In 2018, when Off-Broadway Players did Rumors, we had a great festival. And, also many festivals abroad to be a part of, which is such a gift to get to travel and be a part of that. And your support of this event helps Off-Broadway Players to continue their travel as well, because the hosting is not a small task for the group, and I know you spoke about the community always comes together to support it, and that's amazing. Now let's get these shows full houses. Let's fill that theater for these shows, because all of these troupes have put the work in, and they are coming here to share it with us. I think another thing I'll mention about the festival is these shows are also adjudicated. This year's adjudicator is Jill Kiley. Jill is an incredible theater director, producer. She was at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa for 10 years and has left that to come back to Newfoundland, but still is directing in Stratford. And Jill was actually just here not too long ago doing a workshop with Canberra Arts for Man of the Year, a new musical based on the music of Sean Panting. And she is just a wonderful person. I know she's helping out with a workshop during the festival for participants, which I think is just so wonderful and exciting. And like many theatre professionals in this province, she had her start in community theatre here
Yes.
in Newfoundland, Labrador. So I think it's also such a wonderful thing that these troupes get to hear from a professional who saw their show and get advice and guidance and support on what they are doing in that way, while also having such fun, building a community, learning, growing together. You know, historically, yes, it is a contest at the end of the day, but that's like here on the scale of things that are important during the week is getting to share it.
The contest side of things is almost an afterthought.
Yeah.
When we finish the last show, it becomes, oh yeah, we have awards now.
Yeah.
But the opportunity to sit down and learn from someone like Jill Kiley, when she does take the opportunity after your show to go through, and all the feedback, all the critiques are about lifting you up. What you did was great. Have you thought of this?
Exactly.
And then you just want to get back on the stage and try it again.
Yeah, 100%. It encourages growth. So, folks, that's April 19th to 26th at the Corner Brook Arts and Culture Centre. Tickets are available online or at their box office. Give them a call or drop in. Grab those tickets. Support off-Broadway players and support community theatre and this 75-year tradition in this province. Also coming up, I just wanted to share from our friends at the Rotary Arts Centre. They have a call for new board members and committee volunteers. That's a great opportunity to get involved with a small theatre right here in Corner Brook. Tonight, actually, they also have their big fundraiser where you can leave with a piece of artwork. That's at the Hue and Draw this evening. In addition to that, they have a call for an artist in residence out. Great opportunity to spend a month with a dedicated studio space and receive some income. So if you have a project you've been sitting on, waiting for, or if you know someone who might, share that. You know, the Rotary Arts Centre is another great asset to our community. There's lots of shows coming up. Stay tuned for that. The Arts and Culture Centre is going to be very busy, not only with our Graham Academy productions later in spring, but also Open Door Theatre has a great show coming up, Robin Hood and The Wedding of Doom. So there's lots of things coming up. It's going to be a very interesting season, I'm sure. With that, I'll see you next week as Canberra Arts presents The Stage Door.